Are you a man or not? Are you going to provide or not? I'm not really like that. I really prefer, for a woman to be, holding her own or whatever. What does that mean? What does that mean to you? Hello, angels. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Asha Christina. Very nice to meet you. I am here in my Barbie sweat outfit. I love this color pink. It's like a bubblegum pink. It's so cute. And then I have this cute little headband with my earrings on. I feel like I look so cute. So cute. Anyways, on the topic of this video, this is going to be a hot take. Just like me not being a feminist video was a very controversial for a lot of people. This is probably going to be controversial as well, but I don't know. This is what I have to say, and all jokes aside. If you guys are able to actually watch my full videos, you'll actually find that I'm pretty diplomatic in the things that I say. I never, ever intend to literally be harmful in the things that I say or intentionally divisive in any way. And it's very obvious to me, I want to say, the people that actually watch the full videos of mine and the people that at the slightest bit of what they don't like, they're Twitter fingering away and telling me what they don't like about my content. And if that's the case, if you're going to be that person, I just want you to try your best to actually watch the full video and reserve or preserve your opinions until you've actually watched the majority of the video before you get carried away and you start typing at me and it probably gets deleted. So anyways, we are going to be talking about the feminization of men today in society. And this is a very good topic because I know you ladies know what I'm talking about, okay? We live in a society today where a lot of men are taking on the term sassy now. Like I said in my last video, we're taking these words that shouldn't even be necessarily viewed as positive, and we're turning them into buzzwords that are now considered some sort of compliment or some sort of rite of passage in this being okay in society. Like a sassy man. What woman, honestly, and of course, I mean, this goes without saying, but I guess I have to say it. I'm talking from people, the perspective of people that actually want a traditional relationship, the perspective of people that actually want a man that's going to be a real man, a man that's going to be masculine in their lives, not someone that's going to be on their period and a sassy queen and all these different things. These are not things that we want as women, as traditional women. Okay. So I also want to say that the two articles that I'm referencing in today's video are going to be linked in the description box below. Please rewind that back and listen to it again. And if I forgot, then just let me know and I'll put the two articles, I'll link them so that you guys have them. I'm going to be reading from these articles because I think that they are extremely juicy. They're really, really good. And so like I was saying, in society today, there are a lot of men that, one, they're very sassy. I've also discovered that there are men as well that are very, very feminine in how they handle conflict. Before I even get into this article, I want to say, certain men, they have a certain type of woman that they want to be with. And let's just say for some of those men, it's the IG baddie type of girls, the girls that have the lip filler and they have a certain, a very particularly enhanced appearance. And I want to be clear, I am not anti-enhancement. I am pro anti-enhancement, but I like things to be done naturally, to each its own. And so guys that like the girls that are clearly have the lip thing going and the big boobs and the big butt, a lot of those guys tend to actually want to be those women, I'm finding. No, hear me out. They want to be those women. And when they get with those women, because we all know men that the women that they like are literally a very specific type. The girls that obviously look like they got something done. And these men, they are either disposing of women, or I often find that they want to be that type of woman, and yet they downgrade those types of women as well. So it's in their head, they consider themselves to be an IG baddie. There are men that also in today's society, they cover up, their fragile egos with this, I'm masculine, I'm this, I'm that, but you're nothing of the sort. You don't know how to handle conflict. You literally moan and complain all the time. You literally are not saying there's anything wrong with crying, because I do think people should express their emotions accordingly, but you are crying at the drop of a dime at every minor inconvenience. You don't know how to control any of your sexual urges. The second that something goes wrong for you, in the same day, you have this girl leaving, you have this girl coming in. Like, that's not what an actual masculine man is, by definition. So a lot of these guys that follow this certain rhetoric of, downgrading women, yet they don't realize that they're actually trying to act like women, where they're very emotional in how they approach things, inappropriately too. These are going to be the type of men that are going to give us a lot of problems in society. And these are the type of men that give us a lot of issues in society. And so I really just want to strongly encourage you to open up your ears, clear out the earwax, and open up your hearts to what it is that I'm trying to say. Because, if the shoe fits, then you better put it on. Anyway, and so according to this article, again, it's linked below, femininity is the embodiment of emotionality, compassion, submissiveness, and sensitivity. All right? And it is of the assumption in a relationship that the person with a more feminine personality will be marginally less dominant, okay? And rely on the more masculine partner to account for many of the decisions that need to be made. So obviously, this goes without saying, we know, I want to put that out there, we all know that there's feminine and masculine energy in all of us. We all understand that. But in every relationship, there's always going to be a feminine and a dominant energy within the relationship in order for it to function harmoniously. So, and in contrast, you have masculinity, and this is going to embody someone that's competitive and purposeful, someone that's productive, someone that's ambitious and has high testosterone. They're going to be driven towards ambition and completion of goals. All right. And these are going to be people that will be focused on their career and purpose, while more feminine traits are going to focus on love and, pretty much according to this article, obsess over whoever they're in a relationship with. And I can agree with that, because I think as women, we really do well when we are coming from a restful state. Right? We really function well where we can, take care of the kids and take care of the household and decorate our house for every holiday and all of these different things. And a lot of us really do thrive when we are doing those activities, and it allows us the creative space to do so. And it allows us the restful state to be able to have what is needed to be supplied in our home in order to be able to do these types of things. So according to this article, right, it describes how men are exactly becoming more feminine now that we have defined the difference. And again, if you want to read more in depth, I'm just paraphrasing here on the feminization of men. This is how we get into it. Okay. So we all know that back in the day, in our grandparents' era, okay, our grandfathers had double the testosterone, okay? And the reason for that is a lot of the times in our society now, men, their natural masculine instincts have been suppressed, and they are taught, and from a societal standpoint, to be more agreeable and pretty much cultivate a more feminine identity. And so this is going to look like, and according to this article, maybe, you're in school and your teacher's telling you to shut up, because you want to go zoom, vroom, vroom. And obviously there's a time and a place for everything, but you sort of learn to keep it cute and put it on mute and all these different things. And also the agenda that it's okay to be weak. Now, I love that this article actually touches on this subject, because as a society, there's a movement of men it's okay to be weak, bro, all these different things. And I love what he says. He said, I believe that it is okay to be weak, but I also believe that it is not okay to stay weak. So as men, there is a duty to protect, to provide, to strengthen the family, and also have an inner circle of men that, that they can trust. And unfortunately, where we're at in society is we have done quite the opposite of what we were intended to do. So what this looks like is you have women that are actually way more masculine, and then you have men that turn out to be way more feminine. Okay. And I know that this might be a hot take, because it's it's your gender. And like, I'm sorry, but I'm really not going to get into that. I'm really not. Like, I'm talking about cisgendered people here that have traditional views and standpoints. I'm not here to discuss if I identify as this, then like this, like that's not true. And I'm really not here to discuss that. Like I said, I'm discussing what it is that I'm discussing. And at the end of the day, this makes things a lot more simpler, the standpoint that I'm actually coming from. So with women being more masculine, right? We know that we as women now, we are kind of, you know, primed and in society to be more career driven, more purpose driven, having that mindset that we don't need a man to protect and provide for us. And honestly, at this point, with all of the accolades and things like that that we have achieved and that we are achieving, it kind of makes a high earning woman and ambitious woman sort of feel almost like there's no need to have a man in their life and that it's not really beneficial. And so it says that society has essentially killed the father figure, right? And the masculine role model. And the reason that this is a problem is because we live in a society where men have been emasculated, or men are emasculated in general. And that is a huge issue. So obviously, we have heard of going to college and getting a degree and all these different things. But overall, and I really strongly encourage you guys to read the article, if you end up getting married, and I know that this is a huge, you know, controversial argument that a lot of people have when they say, okay, well, you get married and you have the kids and you pay for their education, all these different things. Next thing you know, you end up divorced, and then your wife gets the house and all these different things, and then you're stuck with nothing later. And I think the huge issue with a lot of this is the feminization of men, actually, and the emasculation of men, meaning that in the household, and this is honestly not even from my own words, this is from this article, it says that, of course, divorce happens for many reasons, but the majority of the time it is either because the man is too feminine or doesn't know how to handle conflicting situations and doesn't have a meaningful purpose to drive him or to further his success or fulfillment as a man, as well as the woman coming to this understanding that she can provide for herself. AKA, you're just lazy. You have the same old system going on. And I could see how ostensibly that doesn't sound necessarily wrong, but it gets mundane and it gets boring. So women realize, hey, listen, if I'm in a situation where you're barely paying, we're going 50-50 for the bills, all these different things. I know I have a certain level of education as well. I'm the one that takes care of the kids most of the time. You spend majority of your time, you know, at work or whatever the case is. You come home, we repeat these cycles or whatever. Yeah, we're still having financial issues, all these different things. I'm feeling like, I can kind of do this myself. I think I can literally provide for my family myself. You know, you're having fights. You guys don't resolve conflict properly. You're not really leading the household. It's sort of an environment where it feels like this woman is by herself doing everything in the household on top of contributing to the bills on top of that. Okay. So a lot of men, they end up very depressed, lonely, suicidal. It says also that as men, there is a duty to be masculine and to do great things for the people that you care about and the world that we live in. So the main objective should be to find a greater purpose than yourself as a man, one that is fulfilling, one that can change you, you know, from being an overly feminine man to an ambitious and productive man. Now, here's an article that's going to be really controversial that I want to bring up that corresponds to this, right? So let me bring that up right now. This is also in the description box. According to this article, there is a man that accuses single moms of raising their daughters to be husbands and their sons to be wives. Now, one particular thing that I find so interesting that immediately jumped at me in this article was that so a girl who associates her own gender with that of her mother, right, is likely to take on those characteristics naturally. A boy, on the other hand, it will notice that he and his mother are two different genders. And so he's going to literally subconsciously believe that he should do the opposite of what his mother is doing. What does this mean? This means that growing up in a single parent household, you're used to seeing your mom paying the bills, being the strong one, doing all these different things, being mom and dad. And so subconsciously, you're going to identify with trying to do the opposite. So that's why you're going to have men that feel like women should be taking care of them. They don't need to be masculine. Their mom did this and that for them. We all know those type of men out there where their moms were the strong ones. And I hear men that think that they're alpha talk about this all the time. You know, I grew up with a strong woman and all these different things, yet all the women that you're attracting, you out of your own mouth consider to be weak, yet you are constantly dating these types of women, and then you're trying to compare them to your mom and your great aunts and all these different things. It doesn't really make sense. Are you a man or not? Are you going to provide or not? I'm not really like that. I really prefer, you know, for a woman to be, you know, holding her own or whatever. What does that mean? What does that mean to you? So you want her to have your children. You want her to cook and clean. You want her to also provide for the household in addition to being with you, keep you interested, you know, sexually, and look good as well. Yep, she has to do all of those things, and all you have to do are things that literally all we both have to do are things that literally come naturally to us. But yet, this is where the issue comes in, that a lot of these men want you to pick up the slack for the areas that they lack in, and they are not emotionally mature enough to understand that what they want doesn't really make sense. And that's a lot of the issue. And yes, I know that there are also flaws to that logic. You know, that single mothers are to blame for, you know, children's masculine and feminine traits. I do understand that that can be a flawed logic, but however, it is the vast majority. It is the vast majority at the end of the day. So a lot of, you know, men, this is where the issue lies. They will grow up in these fatherless homes, and they literally subconsciously think that they need to do the opposite of what their mother's doing. And this is why you have a generation of men that literally, they are sassy queens, and they feel like, you know, that they deserve to, you know, stay at home too, and all these different things. Like, I just don't understand how it's interesting that as a woman, I've rarely heard women say, you know what? I feel like I want my man to stay home. And all I want him to do is sit at home and wait for me to come home. And when I get home, he better have that meal cooked and da-da-da. I've actually never in my life heard a woman say that. But it's interesting that there's a movement of men who literally feel like, when I get home, I want this done. Oh, I want you to pay for 50-50 with the bills. And I want a hot meal. Oh yeah, and I want to bang before I go to sleep. Like, it's like, I really don't understand how that is. It's like the expectation really isn't aligning. Then you have men that are like, oh, well, I feel like the expectations are too high, da-da-da. This is your job as a man in society. You are supposed to protect and provide. You're supposed to be ambitious. You're supposed to be productive. You have an issue with that? Yet you want to be called a man, but you have an issue with that. And then you want to talk about the men that are saying, oh, but women are not the same anymore. They don't do what my mom did. They're not cooking and cleaning, da, 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 all these different things. First of all, you're concerned about issues that don't apply to you. That's one. So until that actually becomes your issue, then I don't want to hear peep out of you. I don't want to hear peep out of you. I really don't. You don't even, first of all, you can't build anything. And at the very least, you also can't even really make money. So don't worry about who ain't cooking and cleaning yet, because you have no house for them to do that in, right? Zip it. So until that actually becomes a concern of yours, then I don't really know what we're talking about here. I really don't. And that's what I'm finding, is that a lot of people are arguing about things that really, quite frankly, don't involve them. They really don't apply to them. Okay. So at the end of the day, to me, it's like, I know for a fact in our heart of hearts, we as women, we want to thrive and live in an environment where we are not having to worry about where our next check is coming from. How are we going to provide for the kids, changing the kids' diapers, worrying about, man, he's going to come home. He's stressed because he barely made money. He thinks I don't understand him because he worked all day, and I'm upset because we barely are making the bills, and I'm having to cover for things, and we're trying to figure out, should we put the kids in daycare? But, oh, wait, we can't because we actually literally can't afford it. So it's like weird because you're resenting me for staying home. I feel like I need to go work because we're about to lose this house and this living situation. And it's just all confusing. When at the end of the day, if we were to actually do what it is that we're supposed to do and stick within those gender roles, I know a lot of people have a problem with that. I mean, it's really just astonishing to me. And this is why things get very confusing, because people are trying to assign the wrong things to the wrong people. And that's why life gets confusing. Instead of it being a standard order, we all know when you give someone too many options, they often choose the wrong one, or they're stuck with analysis paralysis and they don't even know what to choose. Think about that. And in fact, the counter argument in this article is saying that the problem with the guy's reasoning on talking about the feminization of women is that it relies on gender norms. And that's where I just simply stop reading, because according to this article, it's saying that gender norms tend to be outdated, all these different things. And the reason I stopped reading is simply because I feel like I'm coming from a traditional perspective. So I'm not really invested or interested in the societal norms of this and that. I just explained to you guys what makes things very simple, what makes them very easy. And I know that all the time in this context, that's where I stop and I draw the line. I know that in other contexts and things like that, I'm going to elaborate on information that I may or may not, necessarily consider or agree with. And at the end of the day, with the lack of femininity and you seeing that modeled in, your mom or whatever, what it does is it kind of always paints a picture. And this isn't always people's fault, and it's oftentimes out of their control. However, this allows men to feel like it's okay to watch a woman literally provide for you and you don't contribute anything to it. And then you literally grow up and you expect a woman to do all of these things for you. And this really boils down to a lot of the times coming from that fatherless background and not having an active father in the household, where this is literally what's been presented to you. So you are going to model right after that. This is where the issue lies in society, where because of those things and because of those viewpoints, or whatever your situation is in your household, if those gender norms were not, perpetuated to you, this is often going to cloud your judgment in how you view things as a whole. Now, of course, there's always exceptions to the rule where someone can grow up in an ostensibly, normal, upbringing, and they're still just off the rails. We all know people like that, where it's like, what happened to you? There's no reason for you to behave that way. And unfortunately, those are, exceptions to the rule. But like I always say, the exception never makes the rule. And this is why, I really encourage you guys to read this article. I did try and explain it in the best way that I could. I hope that I did do it justice, because the times that we're in, we are witnessing more than ever that women are achieving just as much as men. And this is what's being perpetuated in life, and having that ultra boss babe type of mentality. And I'm not necessarily saying that is wrong. What I'm saying is that it does hurt you. I'm honestly going to sit here and say that it does hurt you. I will even speak for myself. Like, I had these ambitions myself, and I grew up in a 2-parent household. I sort of fell into thinking as, in society, like, I want to be this really powerful woman. I want to do this. I want to do that. And listen, I may very well still be all those things. I still want to make impact, all these different things. But what do I really want at my core? I want to hear all the stories. I want to converse and help one another in the comment section down below. I hope you actually made it this far. Okay, because then maybe you won't have the Twitter fingers. Anyways, with that being said, thank you for watching. Do not forget that I love you and God loves you. And I will see you, beautiful angels, in my next video. Mwah.